I have 3 ideas for a less stressful Sunday. 3 ideas to make your Sunday morning experience a little more enjoyable and less stressful. So here at CSD, we help churches all across the country creating better worship experiences. If you want to learn more about us, you can check us out at csdus.com. So 3 ideas for you to use. Number 1, set a deadline for your media submission. What does that mean? So you've probably had the had the great experience of just minutes before your service, someone walking up to the sound booth and they hand you something, and maybe that's a performance track that they're going to sing or play with that morning, or they hand you a video that's going to be shown that morning, and sometimes you even have no idea that there was even special music or there was going to be a video, but you're handed this media. And you, as the tech person, are expected to make it come to life and have everybody see it, right? But why does this continue to happen, right? Why do people continue to bring us things at the very last minute? And I would submit to you the reason that it continues to happen is because it's a learned behavior. So we, as the church, have taught people that it's okay to do this. And the way that we teach people that it's okay is that we never say that it's not. We continually let people bring us things at the very last minute. We let people bring us things that we're not equipped to display, whether that's sound or video. And we scramble and we try to make things happen. But I think we have the right to create policy to make this a better experience. And I think that's ultimately better for everybody. You don't want somebody coming at the very last minute and handing you a thumb drive or a DVD or a VHS or a cassette even. Yes, a cassette. You don't want that happening at the last minute. And even if you get it, then you're tasked with, how do I make this thing function? How, especially in the world of video, how do I take this video standard that maybe you don't even have a playback device for, and somehow you've got to create a digital copy so you can show it, on your video system. So when that happens, a couple of things happen when we do this. Number 1, right out of the gate, it frustrates the tech team. Again, they are frantic, trying to make this thing happen just a few minutes before the service. So they're frustrated. And then number 2, if they get it done, if they get everything converted and they find a way to play this media that you just brought them at the last minute, even if they get that done and they're able to play it, chances are it's probably going to look bad or it's going to sound bad. And so if you're out in the congregation and you see this media happening, it's probably not good. And so that's not going to be a good representation of your church. So again, number 1, set a deadline for your media submission, make it realistic, but feel confident that you can enforce that. And again, ultimately, the reason for this is so it's a better experience for everyone and it better reflects your church. Number 2, pastors, this message is for you. Already, this is a highly controversial topic, but here it goes. Pastors, you need to be willing to come in early and let us check your mic, right? Your microphone is fairly important, right? It probably can be, you can make the argument that your microphone is the most important one in the room. The sermon is kind of a big deal on Sunday mornings, right? You have worked on your sermon. You have prepared all week. You've got some great things to say. And I bet that when you get up there and you start talking, you expect that it's going to be perfect, right? You want it to be well done. You want it to be powerful. You want it to be clear. But if you don't come in early to check your mic, nobody knows what's going to happen when you start talking. And so all kinds of fun things can happen. You can have the microphone in the wrong position. You can have your belt pack that's not turned on. You can have the microphone that maybe somebody else used the day before or the week before. And so the EQ is totally different for somebody with a totally different voice, and it sounded great on them. But now when you start talking, it's going to sound weird because it's not EQ'd for your voice. So all of this makes you look bad. You don't want to look bad. You want to start talking and you want to be confident. So for that to happen, for you to expect for that to be perfect, you need to be willing to come in and just spend a couple minutes to let the sound team work on your microphone. Now, again, doesn't mean that you need to come in an hour early. It's not a lot of time, and especially if you've got a system in a church that things are fairly similar from week to week, this is not something that takes a lot of time. But You need to do it. We need to find out if there's something wrong with your microphone. Let's find out before there's a whole bunch of people in the room, and before your recording is going out there to your, to your webcast and your stream. Let's find out there's a problem in an empty room instead of a full room. So that's number 2. Pastors, let us do a sound check on your microphone. And number 3, don't criticize each other on Sunday morning. There are plenty of other times to do that. And when we go into a weekend, probably most churches all over the place, churches of all sizes and all types, things do go wrong. We can probably expect that. It's just reality. Things are probably going to go wrong, big things, little things, but there's usually something that doesn't go quite the way we expect it. So how do we react when that happens? I think we need to commit to not tear each other down on a Sunday morning. And as a side note, I think it's a great thing if we would commit to not tear each other down ever, but especially not Sunday morning. Make some notes of what you want to talk about. Make notes of what you observed or what went wrong or what you want to fix. Send yourself an email or take a hard copy note, whatever you want to do, but talk about that outside of Sunday. There are plenty of other days in the week to talk about that. Make sure that Sunday morning is a safe place for you and your team. When myself, I'm a worship pastor, so I've had times where I am literally, a minute from going on stage, and someone will come up to me and they'll say something. It's a negative comment or something that happened that we need to address, or just something that's not really an uplifting thought. And then literally seconds or minutes later, I'm supposed to go on stage and lead a worship experience and be inspiring and be uplifting and encouraging and all these things to the congregation. And meanwhile, my brain has just been derailed from whatever somebody just said to me a few minutes earlier. And the same thing can happen for a senior pastor. The same thing can happen for singers and people in the band and tech people. And again, we don't need that stuff in our brain on Sunday morning when we're trying to be in the moment and leading our churches. There's plenty other times to have those conversations. So commit to each other to not criticize on Sunday mornings. Let that be a safe place for your team. So those are the 3 ideas. Number 1, set deadlines for your media submission. Number 2, pastors, let us check your microphone. And number 3, don't criticize each other on Sundays. If you implement one of these or 2 of these or 3 of these, this will give you a less stressful Sunday morning, which is something that we all want. So hopefully that helps. If you want to learn more about CSD, you can check us out at csdus.com.